You're scratching at the surface of what you should be able to do. Do you ever feel that something's missing? That you're just not quite able to do it? You want to do it, but you just can't. Almost like you're in a straitjacket, wanting to be happy, but unable to do so. I'm going to teach you the secret method that I learned when I was 15 years old that has helped me regulate my thoughts and manifest the reality that I wish to exist in. First, I want you to imagine that your state is like the sky outside. If you're there and you can see a window, have a look. In the UK, there is cloud cover. However, there's an awareness during the day that the sun is shining. I'm just getting an overcast world, a dark, grey world where you don't feel as optimistic. You don't feel like you have as much potential. You don't feel like you can thrive in that environment as much. This is the state that most of us are walking around in, where it's dark, it's grey, and we're not quite able to live life in full colour, experience life as we should be experiencing it. We are holding ourselves back, unable to break through frontiers. Now I want you to imagine a clear sky, clear blue sky with the sun shining. The temperature's perfect. You feel the sun on your skin and you feel good. You feel like you have potential. You feel like your day is going to be a positive one. This is the state that you wish to be in. What if I could tell you that there are techniques out there that help you remove the clouds, physically remove the clouds, so that you can create that bluer sky mentality right here and right now. This is a technique that I've kind of taken for granted because I learned it so young. It is almost on autopilot with me. I'm existing in this place on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, and I didn't quite realize until I got older that other people really were unable to experience this state. So what the hell am I talking about? What I'm talking about is the release technique. I encourage you all to go and look this up and go and practice it yourself. Lester Levinson is the father of this. For those of you who are interested, there's lots of information on Lester, but a brief summary would be this. Many years ago, I think it was after the time of the Second World War, Lester was in a situation where he was unhappy. And part of his unhappiness was due to ill health. He'd been diagnosed with heart disease and had been given a few weeks left to live. The doctors in the hospital in America told him to leave because they said to him, "There's nothing more that we can do for you." Lester was a physicist, an engineer. He was extremely intelligent, and what he did when he got home was he had these chalkboards and he started to write down the times that he felt happy and the times that he didn't. And he started to break down all human emotion to 3 key wants: the want for security, the want for approval, and the want for control. These, if you will, in the massive tree of mind and thought, are the 3 key trunks of the tree. And Lester's philosophy was to teach you how to, instead of removing a leaf or a little twig off this massive gargantuan tree of mind, instead what he told you to do was to take an axe and strike directly at one of the 3 tree trunks. Most of us are existing in a state where we are ruled by our mind, our emotions, our thoughts. This is, unfortunately, the status quo. What releasing has empowered me to do is to regain that control, is to not be under the influence of other people and to act as I wish to act, not as I have been programmed to act. Now, what do I mean by programmed? We are all programmed by our environment, by events that happen to us in our lives, and by our experiences of people and interactions with people in general. We are unconsciously acting out these programs that we create throughout our lives, but often in our youth, for the rest of our lives. And that's why I call it dysfunction. You're not able to actually make a change. You are literally fighting against yourself in order to do it. For some of you watching this, the fight may well be over, and should I say, the beginning of the end of the fight is coming. Because you're watching this video for a reason. Now, unfortunately, we do not actually live in a world where you can gain meaningful change in a 10-minute YouTube video. you will have to go and do some work. The starting point that I want you to take is to sit in quiet without any distraction and start to notice in silence the thought stream. Now, what is the thought stream? When you're in that quiet state, you will start to acknowledge that your mind is constantly coming up with ideas, with thoughts, with wants, with desires, with worries, with anxiety. The reason I call it a thought stream is because it is flowing constantly. However, you do not have to partake. The first step is noticing that the thought stream is there. In doing this, you have achieved something massive. You've probably achieved something that 90% of the population of the world will not achieve in their entire lives. You have detached. You have become the observer of the thought stream. And in doing so, you no longer believe deep down that you are your thought stream. There is a significant difference. Do this practice and you will start to understand you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts. And then you are in an extremely powerful place and you can start to utilize tools like the release technique. I have given you a little introduction to this technique. I've been on many retreats, I've done training courses on this from a young age, and it has become a part of me. What I want you to do, if you're interested, is to start to look into the Sedona Method by Hale Dwoskin and the Release Technique by Larry Crane. For me, this is the first step that you can take towards a brighter, more potential-filled world where everything seems infinitely more possible. You start to break down the barriers that are holding you back in a tangible way, and you can really start to change your life. This is the Warrior of God.